everybody. Welcome to Modern Moves Dance. I'm CoCo Loop. Today, we don't have Michael with us today playing drums, but I'm going to ask him to compose some music that I can layer in to go along with this exploration today. So that'll be something kind of new, and I hope you enjoy it. So today, I wanted to look at scale, the size of our actions, what it feels like to sort of expand or condense, or what feels small and what feels large. Because I think when we are trying to develop a variety of technical skills, it's nice to have some context for the size of things and how your body inhabits those shapes in motion. You can always kind of practice scale. What does it feel like to move in a small, delicate way, and what it feels like to expand? At any rate, that this whole exploration, this experimentation, is to find those nuances and what it feels like to go from one scale to another. Okay, so we'll just get started. I will probably go to the floor, so you may lose track of me in your computer screen, especially if you're going to the floor too. That's totally fine. You can follow my voice, or you can go off on your trajectory on your own if you find something quite captivating that you want to stay with. Okay, let's get started. So we'll start by just shaking out, right? My ankle just popped, and it's popping again. So just shaking out the bones, right? You can face wherever you want. Make sure that you let the head go side to side, maybe up and down. Drop the shoulders, pick them up and drop them several times. Let the elbows and wrists kind of flop around. Same with the knees, the hips, and the ankles, right? A little jostling just to kind of wake up the nerve endings, right? Even kind of, you might want to snap or kind of clap just to get some sensory awareness going. Actually, let's just do a little bit of tapping all over the skin surfaces. Yeah, wherever you can reach. Right, because these are the surfaces we're going to be feeling for information. So it's nice to wake them up. Face, top of the head, back of the head. Okay. So now you can just start with a relaxed stance and take some inventory on what this scale feels like, right? How far your head is from the floor, how far your fingertips are from the hips, or from your feet, or from your head. You can close your eyes or softly relax the eyelids to maybe get a sense of where these things are in space without the input of other visual information. How far is the tail from the head? How far is the tail from the roof of the mouth? This kind of medium scale, anatomically correct kind of stance. And from here, let's explore what it feels like to shrink any one of these distances. So maybe decreasing the distance between the palms, decreasing the distance between the two big toes. You can come up with your own combination, decreasing the distance between the elbows. So we're looking at making things just a little bit smaller, taking up less space. Decrease the chin, the distance of the chin and the sternum. Decrease the distance between the head and the floor. Decrease the distance between the knees. You can even bring these parts of the body into contact and try to eliminate the space in between them. And of course, when you start to move multiple parts of the body, you start to realize that you're in some complex movement patterns, because it doesn't have to be a one-to-one relationship. You can bring the chin closer to the knee and an elbow closer to those two things. You can bring the palms closer to the soles of the feet. That really takes your head closer to the floor. So we're just really slowly almost feels like bringing your awareness to something you could consider togetherness, right? We can try to bring a knee closer to the floor and an elbow closer to the floor. A palm closer to the spine. The knuckles closer to the skull. And then from there, you can just kind of go on this like free flow of things that are small and ever smaller. Such a great way to study shape. And how shapes can morph and change. And you might even feel like you're doing a gesture study, right? As you bring these body parts closer to one another or closer to the floor. What about a heel closer to a buttock? Or a heel closer to a calf muscle? Right? And then let's get really small. So almost collapsing all of the joints and all of those previous shapes into the smallest kind of comfortable space that you can find. When we get really small. Really tucked, really compressed. You don't have to compress with force. You can compress with ease until you're maybe on the floor. You may be able to find this shape without going to the floor, or find tiny, small articulations without going to the floor. I like going to the floor. So and from here, in this kind of cocooned egg shape, you can start to even feel the tiniest little articulations, maybe in the joints of the fingers, in the joints of the toes, maybe a small shift in the pelvis, or in the jaw. And then from here, we'll start to explore enlarging, expanding, and opening up and taking up more space. So here we go. You can start wherever you like, and it's basically just the retrograde of what we were doing earlier. So we start to notice an increased distance between body parts. So you may have to go down to a smaller distance and then expand from there. And then shrink again and expand from there. And then shrink again and expand from there. Shrink, expand. And you can come up with the combinations of maybe anatomical structures that you want to send as far away from each other as possible. Totally on your own creative little journey here. Taking inventory and really putting scale, gesture, shape into context. And here you might start to feel a little more effort involved as you kind of stretch and lengthen through space and through the body, right? Well, space is in the body, so how do you get the sternum as far away from the floor as possible, right? Or an ear as far away from a heel as possible. Yeah. And my neck just popped. So you may notice that doing this also gives you some self-assisted adjustments in the spine. All right, so we're going, how big can I make this shape or this gesture? Remember to breathe. How far can I get the knees apart, right? What do I have to do to support this expansiveness, right? How far can I get my fingertips from a set of toes or my head away from my tail, right? And there we go. You can use this exploration as a warm-up or as a cool down, as a way to kind of tap into your kinesphere, your surface area, and also your depth of your core, your balance, because you may be noticing that as you move these body parts toward and away from each other, you're having to negotiate stabilization, which is really cool. All right. We can just bring that back down to medium size actions, distances that you can manage, and scale that you can manage on 2 feet and in just your normal standing position. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gave you some information about how the body can articulate through scale, and hope it took you on a little creative journey of discovering maybe what the language of your body feels like, from the, like I said earlier, the smallest, kind of almost minuscule little movements and actions to larger, more expansive parts of your physical language. Okay, like I said, I hope you really enjoyed this. Do it anytime you feel like you want to connect to space and to your own movement, your own agency. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much. I hope you have a great day.